very lucky to be joined now with the one and only Kimya Dawson, all the way from the States. How are you, Kimya?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, so excited to be talking to you, because not only are you an international amazing performer, songwriter, you're also an excellent tweeter.
Thank you very much.
You tweeted a while ago about Laura Ingalls, and I don't think anything has made me laugh so much as Laura going down on her wheelchair, falling over.
Oh, Laura pushing Nellie down the hill?
Yes.
I know, that's classic.
So, just wondering, before we get on to this great show you're doing, is that another sort of form of creative expression for you, doing like blogs and Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, I've started years and years ago with Diaryland, and then moved from Diaryland to LiveJournal and LiveJournal, just like hopped around. Now I've got a Tumblr and a Twitter and all that stuff, but it's fun for me. It's a funny way to connect with people.
And how did you start connecting with people, as far as how did you get into your songwriting? Because you're a visual artist as well, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I never really fancied myself one. Just I've always done art since I was a kid, but never in a way where I thought like this is what I'm going to do, So
how did you get into songwriting?
Well, I was friends with Adam Green when he was a kid, and he was writing songs, and then, we just sort of accidentally started writing songs together, and did the Moldy Peaches stuff for a while, and then we had taken a break for a while, and during that break, a friend gave me a guitar. I'm like cooking dinner while I'm talking to you. Sorry.
It paints an excellent picture.
Good. And so, my friend gave me a guitar and said, well, if you guys aren't going to do the band stuff anymore, you should keep playing. And so I did.
And how was that?
How to play.
How was that? As far as, did you feel, the cliche naked? Did it give you a sense of freedom that you were able to go just on your own path?
It was a little bit of both. I mean, it was really nice to be able to do stuff by myself because, it's like the stuff you do together is the stuff you do together, and there's a lot of thoughts and ideas that are sort of more intimate or more personal that wouldn't necessarily work when it's two people. So it was a really nice relief to be able to just kind of be like, wow, you know what? Like, I'm going to go here with this, and you don't have to, like, click in the same mind.
And I'm just wondering also about motherhood and arts, just because so many, mothers out there with any art form, absolutely any art form, struggle to sort of do both, and some obviously do it exceptionally well. But how was it for you balancing motherhood and performing and writing?
First it's hard, when they're babies. Sorry, I'm like taking the outsides off of some corn. I'm like making spaghetti and corn. So that kind of answers your question right there.
Yes.
That you're just sort of constantly preoccupied, and you've got to be, and your brain sort of shuts down in every other aspect, and I think it's more difficult than a lot of people let on, unless you have, a huge support team to be a mother or to be, a parent of a young baby. So it's hard. There were years where I was just like, wow, I don't think I'm ever going to write again. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, well, all right, I'm moving on to another part of my life.
And so your album Thunder Thighs is to be released here in October, this month, coming out any time soon. What was sort of your inspiration and your motivation for this album?
I mean, it's just as if like any record that I make, it's not, I don't sit down to, oh, that piece of corn is disgusting. I don't sit down to make the record, it's like I just have a song at a time, and then, eventually I record them, and eventually it's like enough to be a record, and so it wasn't like there was a plan, for like the album as a unit, it was just kind of like, whoa, I have a shitload of songs now, like, now I'll make a record, but as I was writing the songs, it wasn't like with a record in mind.
Mm-hmm. And you're here first in Brisbane and then Melbourne with Aesop Rock, and as part of the Melbourne Festival, you'll be here Saturday the 15th. Have you worked with Aesop Rock before? Are you a fan of his work?
We have been working together for almost a year now, and I'm a huge fan. Just one of the best writers we've got these days.
Well, maybe for those who don't know, how would you describe what he does?
How would I describe what he does?
Yeah.
He's like sitting right here.
Oh. Well.
What, you want to hear what I think about you? Well, he does a little hip hop. But yeah, he's like just super amazing lyricist and very, very wordy, and his I don't know, he just like cares about words so much, and he puts his songs together in a way that's just really amazing to me. I care about words a lot, and I don't meet a lot of people who I feel like are affected by words or love words in the same way that I do. And so it's really exciting, like being able to write with him and do the shows with him, because it's like I feel like we have the same sort of respect for what we're doing and for the language. And
well, so many of your lyrics do tell beautiful tales, and you can tell that you do care about words. I was just wondering, who are your influences in a writing sense, whether it be novel, film, music? Who do you like? What writers do you like?
I'm a big fan of Jeffrey Lewis, who's sort of another New York folky.
Yeah.
And I just when I was starting to write, I was hanging out sort of in that scene a lot on the Lower East Side in New York, and hanging out with like Jeffrey and Paleface, and there's a guy named Hamill on Trial, and just these people who are sort of like playing acoustic guitars, kind of in a way that was less like cheesy and traditional, but still in a really like kind of true traditional folk way, but just telling these stories. It's like Jeff, like I feel like from Jeff I learned that you can like ramble on and on and on, and you don't have to have a chorus, and you can just tell your story, and it can go from like one topic to the next, and then from like Paleface, like his stuff is just like so raw, it's just got this like really raw beauty to it, and then someone like Hamill is just like plays fast and hard and loud and just like tells you the dirty truth, and I just feel like there are a lot of people like that around who just sort of got me from all different sides, where I was just like, wow, you know what, like I can make music that's not like anything, like I can just tell my story in my way and not worry about how people, say a song is supposed to be constructed.
That's a fantastic place to be. And we've got a track from your new album, Thunder Thighs, Walk Like Thunder. Maybe tell us a little bit about how this song came about.
Well, I think that song tells its own story in 11 and a half minutes. I lost some friends, and it really kind of, it's like sort of being a part of like punk communities, and that like in my 20s, and like I lost a lot of people. It's like I've lost a lot of friends, but for the most part it was like drugs or like drunk driving or suicide, like that kind of stuff. And then so suddenly I lost a couple people my age in a really close time period to disease and natural causes, and that really sort of terrified me, because it's like you never really get used to losing people, but it's like it just sort of becomes a part of the journey, when you're hanging out in like certain communities and as you get older in general. But then once it started to be like, holy shit, like cancer and heart attacks and stuff like that, it was like, right, like maybe quitting drinking and drugs isn't enough. Like, we've got to, like, really start thinking about taking care of ourselves in other ways, too. And just sort of being strong through the whole process of losing people, too. But, I mean, I wasn't, like, writing the song with any of that stuff in mind. I was writing the song from a place of, like, I am so overwhelmed. I'm, like, dying inside. And the song just kind of happened because I didn't know what to do with myself otherwise.
Thank you so much for talking with us, Kimya. I really appreciate your time, and get back to, was it spaghetti and corn, did you say?
I've got like an 8-course meal happening right now.
Well, thank you for your 8-course kind of music. I really appreciate it and your time. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.